You start by giving the deck a shuffle. There we go. I'm kidding. It's a real shuffle. The deck can be totally shuffled, throw it in the air, people can gather up, whatever, okay? I'm gonna try this. Chris, my friend, I'm going to very slowly go through the cards like this, okay? And I'm going to go card by card, and when you feel like it, I want you to say, that's my card. Very, very slowly.
That's my card.
Right there.
Yeah.
Very slowly take it.
Okay.
Show it to the camera.
Got it.
Okay. Put the card right back.
Okay.
Just like that. I'm going to spread the cards on the table. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to take the cards, I'm going to turn them over and spread them out on the table. Okay? Like this. Just like this. Like that. Like this. Now, I really want to get a sense. I want to get into your mind, but the best way to get into your mind is to go through your body, believe it or not. Hold out your finger like this for me, okay? And I'm going to put my first finger on your pulse. And very slowly, we're going to go across the cards. And I'm going to try to get a sense here. See, I'm feeling it cooling. Your pulse. No. Okay, it's somewhere up in here. Let me get rid of these cards. Let me get rid of these cards. Okay. I'm going to fan these out. Fan these out. Like this. Okay. Let me ask you a question. What's your... And in fact, let me open your hand a little bit. I'm going to hold your palm right there. What is your favorite color?
Brown.
Brown, okay. Brown. Okay. And when's the last time you went on a date? I'm thinking.
It's been a while.
Been a while, okay. I know the feeling. And what about, what's your favorite drink in a bar? A beer? Okay. There's one of these too. Was the card you had in mind the three of spades?
Yeah.
Many years ago, I released in the Magic fraternity, and some of my older fans will remember this, a project called Fire Starters. And this was work I developed over several years in my late 20s and early 30s. And I wasn't married. I really, really wasn't married. And I found that magic was a great way to connect with people and, you know, start that fire, that connection. Now, you need to do a whole bunch of things for it to actually be practical, to meet or pick up a woman or whatever, an emu at the zoo, whatever you got going on. It's one thing to say, hey, you know, magic's great, but you really need to focus on a few key things that have to happen during the performance. Or what you're really talking about is before or after your show, going up to someone and trying to hit on someone cold, pretty much, or they just saw you perform and you come on over. You gotta look for the right opportunity and all that stuff. So you want that all to be able to do a lot of that stuff during the trick. If you spot someone, you perform some magic, someone you're attracted to, you sense there's a bit of a chemistry there and you want to kind of drill down into that to check out how much is there, the chemistry. This is a great trick to use, and it's based on a very old idea and an old premise of the pulse idea. But I want to share this with you, share the secret method and some of the thinking around it. One of the key lines of the script that I really found is, I'm going to try to read your mind. I'm going to try to get inside your mind. But I found one of the best ways to do that is to go through your body. This notion, drawing verbal and tactile, this notion of, I'm going to read your thoughts. What do you mean, read my thoughts? And I'm going to do it by being in physical contact with you. That line, that concept is a great way to see what kind of energy is between you and this other person. How deep, sort of how much is there to drill into, and that's key. Because, so much of it comes down to almost pre-qualifying. Because it's one thing to meet someone who's cute and they're flirting back, but the whole point is you're having a show, so everyone's just performing, right? None of it's real. So you have to figure out how do you make that work for you rather than against you. You can literally have someone take any card they want, okay? They show it around and you say, okay, say stop whenever you want. They say stop there. Or even if they don't say stop, you say, I'm going to cut the cards, go ahead, put your card back. They put their card back, you reassemble the deck, and now you can find their card. Now notice here on YouTube, on the camera, I deliberately didn't quite complete the action that gives you the peek. And the action is go ahead, put your card. That's the action. Go ahead, put your card there. Because just like this, from a shuffle pack, go ahead, put your card there. I'm turning this over just enough that I can see this card, okay? Love this peek, and this I use a lot because it's a shuffle deck. They take out any card. It's the most natural thing in the world. Go ahead, put your card back. They put their card back, 8 of hearts, and I know now when I complete the cut that the card below the king of hearts, or in this case, king of diamonds, nice, will be their selected card. That's the problem with teaching and not glancing more seriously, is I know the card beneath the king of diamonds will be their card, so that a moment later when I spread out the cards on the table, I make sure I spot my king of diamonds, and I make sure there's lots of space. I know their card's the 8 of hearts, and I go from there. So that's one really beautiful natural peek, okay? Another peek, another version of this, and this is something I have not shared on YouTube before. It's a small variation on a peek approach, but I think several of you more experienced card performers and psychics, mentalists, will see the value of this. And that is, you spread out the cards and say, go ahead, I want you to grab one. You say, actually, look, I want to be, because if you grab one, I might have some way to kind of, with sleight of hand, control you to take one in particular. So let's do this. I want you to let's take a card, and I want you to slip it, as I do this, slip it anywhere you want in the pack. And they slip it anywhere they want, right there. I say, are you sure? Do you want to put it somewhere else? They say, no, that's their spot. I lift this up, and I show them their card, and I drop it down. And of course there, all I'm using is I know the identity of the placement card, okay? A simple way to do this is just shuffle pack, and while riffling the cards, every time I'm riffling these for just a second, I get to see the bottom card, okay? Like watch, just here, I know it's the 10 of diamonds is the bottom card. And here, okay, boom. Every single time I know the bottom card. So at this point I say, look, I could have you go in and grab a card, but instead, look, let's do this. Take the card, slip it anywhere you want, and because I know the bottom card, they slip it anywhere they want. You say, you're sure, we're marking, we can put it, it's so fair, then I just gently lift this up just enough for them to see it, drop it down, and when I square the cards, I know that the card directly above the 9 of clubs, is going to be their card. So there's lots of different ways to peek the card, but for this particular trick, I make sure I know that their card, let's say in this instance, my friends, is the 10 of spades, so it's under the 9 of diamonds. Fine. I say, so you're thinking of a card, the best way to get to your thoughts is through your body. So let me try something. And I turn it over, I fan it out, and I know, make sure there's plenty of space around their card. You don't want it to be like that. It's a bit obvious, right? You spread out the cards. Now, the rest is all about contact, physical contact, and about asking questions. Okay, so I ask them to hold their hand, and Chris, would you help me out here? Hold their hand. I take their hand, okay, and the first thing is their hands closed, their fingers out, and like this, and I'm holding their hand. Okay, here we go, I'm gonna hold your hand here. And I gotta admit, I'm gonna own it right now, I have tried to riff on occasion. I'll hold some, I go, wow, that's some soft skin. I'll throw that line out there. And you gotta be careful, because on one hand, you wanna be flirting with someone, but you also don't wanna come across as too cheesy, right? So you're here. And we do this, I'm getting a sense, and I'm saying I'm holding their pulse. And in my experience, if you commit to this presentation, they don't think that this is a ruse, or they are convinced you're using their pulse because everyone's heard about lying and increase of pulse and all that stuff. So you start like this to narrow it down, you get rid of these cards, let's say. And then you up the ante, and this is important, okay? You're then going to up the ante, or no, maybe I didn't divide it here. Let's do it like this. I'll leave a cut. And again, and I got to say, Chris will narrow it down. Let's say their cards 9 of hearts, for example. I get rid of some cards here, okay? And I'm here. And I say, actually, I'm starting to get a sense of this. Open your hand a little bit. Let me get just like that. And I put on, so I go from one finger on their wrist, to then 2 fingers right on their palm. And so I'm raising the physical contact, and I really find that's important. There's something about touching someone and increasing the contact of flesh that really does work. And so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions to figure out this last little one here. And I'm going back and forth, and I say, for example, let me guess, how old are you? I'm guessing you're about maybe 24, and I know she's late 20s, but I'm flirting with her, so 24, and she says, well, I'm 28. And I say, okay. And when was the last time you went on a date? And you drop that real casual. Now, of course, if she says last night or this or that, or actually have a boyfriend there, if she says, of course, it's been a while or not a while, or it's been a couple of weeks, you know she's single, which is that's really what you want to find out, okay? And then it's also an opportunity for you to then say, you know, yeah, I know the feeling, or it's been a while, whatever. And then, of course, you eventually narrow it down to their selected card. So, the bottom line here is you want to be doing something that is impossible. That's super fair, that really looks like you're reading their mind, number one. Number two, the pulse thing gives you the perfect excuse to contact, to have physical contact. 3, you're going to increase the physical contact. You don't want to end up saying, to really figure out if it's the 3 of hearts or 2 of spades, I need you to take off your shirt. You don't want to go over the top there. Over the top is a pun in a few ways. Sorry about that. So you're increasing the physical contact, and finally the questions. And you know, you and I mean, if you're older the age of 16, 17, spent any time trying to meet people, you know it all comes down to you being cool, about you being charming, and about playing the situation. But what you want is to use tricks. If you want to use magic to try to meet someone or pick up someone or whatever, you really need the tricks that leave room for you to do those things. Physical contact, personal questions, this notion of a psychic connection. All this stuff really makes it so much easier. So for those of you who are really interested in meeting women, picking up women, whatever that kind of approach with magic, I hope this trick helps. Like I said, I think it really frames the situation, makes it a lot easier for you to do what you're trying to do there. At the same time, it's weird because, first, this isn't obviously, my channel is not all about meeting people in bars and clubs and things just with magic. That's just sort of one thing you can do. Though I wanted to share that kind of trick. A few of you have asked me, hey, do you know some tricks that are particularly good for that? So there's an example of one. It's weird though. What I wanted to mention though is this notion too of that it's weird how we live in a culture. And I talk to people, of all ages about this. And so many people say, yeah, more than ever, they've got, Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all these other apps designed to kind of meet people. So you'd think it'd be the easiest thing in the world, but it almost seems more difficult sometimes for people with this more tech and alienation, for people to have a sincere contact with someone. And that's one of the great things I think about magic and close-up magic. There's a guy by the name of, I think his name is Nesbitt, maybe? He wrote a book many years ago called Megatrends. And anyway, one of the premises of the book is the more technologically advanced a society becomes, the greater the thirst they have for simple contact, tactile contact or visual contact. This kind of funny paradox that comes about. So I hope you like that trick, and I hope it helps some of you connect, like I said. And if you'd like to, leave a comment. Let me know down below. Leave a comment. Would you guys like to see a few more of these kinds of tricks that, are designed to really make it easier for you to maybe move the conversation from magic to more social stuff or whatever? If you'd like to see more, let me know. And hey, this old project I had many years ago called Fire Starters, I've been thinking of revamping it and putting some new stuff and re-releasing it. Let me know. Comment down below. What do you think? You interested in that kind of thing? And I guess that's about it, except, hey, if you do like this kind of thing and a more thoughtful approach to card tricks and that kind of thing, subscribe to the channel, okay? Subscribe to the channel, click the like button, and of course, turn those notifications on, because I Tuesdays and Thursdays, when I usually drop stuff, upload it. But the sooner you hear that notification, or check it out, the sooner you come back, you can learn something. And a lot of it's so simple that that very day, you can go right out and amaze friends and family. Did he say friends? I think he said friends, didn't he? I think he might have said fiends. Amuse those fiends. Don't even amaze your friends. Amuse the fiends. That's my new logo. It's not even a logo, really. I was just gonna. It's not. No, don't. It's not even a logo. It's a slogan. That's the slogan. Peace.